Hello everybody, I need your help, okay? If you've noticed, I'm sure you have, I haven't been making that many videos, and there's two reasons for it. First reason is that I'm shadow banned, and that's what I want to talk to all of you about today. I'm heavily shadow banned on YouTube to the point where you can't find my videos. You have to search for the exact title of the video and my channel name. So if you don't do that, you won't find my videos anywhere. They're not in any of the search results. You can go through 200,000 different search results for a phrase that's close to the title of my video, and you won't find a thing. BitChute's the same way, and so is Rumble. Now, if you are shadow banned on BitChute, like I am, and I pay them money every month to promote my videos, I have a bronze membership. It doesn't do shit. When I upload a video to BitChute, it goes right to the very end of the search results. So when I looked up Satanism, for example, after I uploaded 2 videos on Satan, actually 3. There's 3 videos that I have on that channel that's on BitChute. When you look up Satanism, I'm somewhere down like 37,000 videos. All the way at the bottom is where you'll find my videos. They do not get promoted, yet I pay for it. Meanwhile, satanic cults are posting their videos that are many years old. I don't know how long BitChute's been around, but I can tell you this, that some of these videos that are in the top 100 of the search results for Satanism, that none of those channels have had new content for years. And you can't tell me that they're paying BitChute money for that, because they're not. They're dead channels, and they're being promoted. Meanwhile, if you're exposing a satanic cult, BitChute will hide your shit. If you're on BitChute promoting homophobia, racism, or neo-Nazism, they will promote your videos. But if you're on there talking about MyLabs, or you're talking about alien abductions that involve the government, or you're talking about exposing satanic cults, BitChute will hide your video. Well, at least they do it with me. They probably won't do it with anybody else, at least certain people maybe, but now, the same thing is going on with Rumble. I get heavily shadow banned on Rumble. And it was far worse before, before that big merger took place between the Trump Media Group, whatever it's called, and, Rumble, whatever their company's called. So once the merger took place, then my videos started to show up in the search results, but you have to be like very specific. And you have to be willing to go and search through a lot of results. So you can't find my videos really at all on Rumble. You can't find them on BitChute unless you go to the very end of the search results. And YouTube, forget it. The only way that my channel has grown is because I posted my videos in various forums, such as Project Avalon and others. And I've been on other people's shows. And there's only been a handful of people willing to put me on, because most people won't do that. I'm going to get to that in a moment. So what I need you guys to do, if you want this channel to continue to go on, because really I have no incentive to do this. It costs me money every month that I don't have. It's probably $30 or $40 out of my pocket to pay for all the different editing software and shit that I've got to buy. So really it's a drain on my resources. And it's a constant aggravation. But I gotta see some results. I have to get out of this situation I'm in somehow. So I need your help. And what I need you to do, if you like these videos, put them on your channel, mirror them, make copies of them, download the video using software, or I hate to say it, I don't want you to support YouTube in any way financially. But you can download my videos if you subscribe there. But I'd recommend that you use either free software to download my videos, or a cheaper software. It only costs you a couple of bucks a month. And so please download my videos and upload them to your channel. It'll do huge things for me, hugely positive things for what I'm trying to do. I can't get content for this channel. There's a lot of things I need to talk about, but I'm discouraged every day to talk about this stuff because it's not getting any reach. It's not reaching anybody. It takes me a couple of hours sometimes to do a video, depending on the length of it. At least an hour. It takes a lot more than that. It takes many, many hours of mental preparation and just thinking about what I'm going to say and trying to get it organized in my head before I do it. Because most of my videos, actually all of them, I speak strictly off the cuff. I don't have a script. And I don't edit it much because I don't want to have a bunch of cuts where I just say things in a very streamlined way. I want to be real. I want to be genuine. So what I need you guys to do is put my videos on your channels. All I ask that you do when you put it up is that in the description that you put a link to my YouTube channel or my Rumble channel or my other channel. So I have 3. So that's all I ask you to do. And what I've found that there's multiple channels now that have been showcasing my content. Now, they didn't ask permission, which is fine because I would have given them permission to begin with. I want my videos on other people's channels, and I'll tell you why in a moment. So all I ask is they put something in there to where they can find my channel. Unfortunately, I don't think I get much traffic this way, but at least my videos get viewed, and that's the whole point of this. So even though I can't interact with those people that are watching somebody else's channel, at least my content reaches them. So what I've found is that there's multiple channels now on BitChute and Rumble that are mirroring my videos and uploading my content to their channels where they're getting tens of thousands of views, okay? And they're doing really well because there was a time that I was questioning, is it my content that sucks? Do I suck as a speaker? Is there something that I need to do? Well, the answer is no. And the subscribers and all the people that email me every week have told me that. You got great content. Thank you for doing what you do. But I can't get very much of a reach, and I certainly can't expose the Joy of Satan cult if I can't reach the former members who were victims of it to get them to come forward to give their testimony so that none of this shit, none of this government program called Project IBIS is going to be exposed if I continue to go down the same path using the same strategies that I've been using, which don't work. So I need help. Now what I've found is that when my content, when my videos go on other people's channels, everybody likes them. They get a lot of views, thousands of views. This is the way to get around the CIA and the Department of Homeland Security's algorithms and big tech's algorithms, because they're doing it on behalf of the CIA, and really it's the Department of Homeland Security is how the censorship works. And it works in a similar way in other countries, but everything under the transatlantic system sort of falls under the Department of Homeland Security censorship plan. So, and how that works is they put your name on a list, and then they give that list out to all of these different tech companies. They'll hand it out to BitChute, they'll give it to Rumble, they'll give it to YouTube and whatever. They'll give it to the search engine and so forth. And once they have your information, your IP address, whatever, you cannot be successful in social media ever again. No matter what you do, you're going to be shadow banned. I could create a channel where I simply talk about auto repair, and I could have the best auto repair videos on YouTube, and I would get no views. I could do something on gardening, interior decorating, cooking. It wouldn't matter what it is. I could do fashion design, sewing. I could do arts and crafts. I could do self-help. I could do inspirational videos. I could do anything under the sun, and I would be shadow banned to hell. And that's exactly the way this thing works. I was flagged for a very long time ago, and it's just gotten worse. The more that I do, the more psychic attacks that I get, the more opposition that I get, and it's gotten out of hand. So I need every one of you to mirror my content. Please, if you're a subscriber, what's it going to take to upload one of my videos? It's pretty easy. And then you'll have your own channel, and you could put my content on there or anybody else's content that you want, and you could have just a place for people to go to watch things that they can't normally find, because they're not going to shadow ban you, they're shadow banning me. So if my videos do great on other people's channels, what the hell's going on here? You know, it's proof that I'm being targeted. Now, I just did something recently, just today. actually yesterday, I sent BitChute an email and I'm like, look, I'm paying you every month. Why aren't my videos showing up in the search results? Why are they all the way at the very end? Nearly every one of my videos on BitChute is at the very end of the search results, and that's where they stay. How is it that any new content will be seen by subscribers if that's how their algorithm works? I don't think it works that way. Well, we're going to find out because I'm waiting for them to respond. They sent me an email today. They sent me two. One to confirm that they got the email and another one to confirm that they were elevating my request to somebody in a department to review it. So they're going to hopefully respond to me with some generic bullshit answer as to why my videos aren't being picked up by the algorithm and put out there so people can find them. It's ridiculous that people promoting white supremacy are getting promoted in the algorithms, and I'm talking about a cult that needs to go, and nobody can find my videos. It's ridiculous. So, anyway, what the hell? I think I will read. I'm going to read, and hopefully I can keep your guys' attention, because I've got something cool. I've got some juicy conspiratorial shit to talk about after this. So if you're like really short on time, come back and listen to this. Anyway, this is what I sent to BitChute. I said, hi, my name is Nathan Cizik. I have the Voices of Orion Project channel on BitChute. I've been paying for the bronze membership for about a year, and it's actually been 13 months, I just checked. And I'm deeply dissatisfied with the way your algorithm promotes my videos. For nearly a year, my videos didn't show up in the general searches. They would only show up when the channel name and the exact title were put into the search box. This resulted in just a couple of views per month, and that's because I was promoting them through Telegram and through other social media forums. Now things have slightly improved, but not by much. And I said, here's a good example. If you search for Satanism on BitChute, my videos pertaining to the subject are now showing up unlike before. The only problem is that they're at the very end of the search result. And if my memory serves me correctly, when I searched Satanism on BitChute, I think there was 37,000 videos. Guess where mine was? At the very end of that. You would have to scroll for 30, 45, or 50 minutes to find my video. Now, who the hell's going to do that? Nobody. And that's exactly why it's there at the very end, because they don't want you to see it. So anyway, I said, the top search results feature videos that are several years old. Meanwhile, my new content is never seen unless someone goes through the trouble and the time to go to the very end of the search results where all of my videos are consistently found. I find it disturbing that a channel that is actively trying to protect people from joining dangerous cults is being suppressed, while other videos promoting Satanism are heavily promoted by your platform. Meanwhile, I'm paying you for your company to promote my videos and nothing is showing up, considering that the majority of the videos found when I search for Satanism are videos by accounts that are several years old and have no new content. Some of these accounts had no content for several years, yet they're in the top of the search results. And my video, which is new, is at the very end. Behind them, between my video and those, 37,000 results. I don't think that's fair. Anyway, I go on to say, I suspect that these channels are not paying your company anything. Yet paying customers like myself are getting nothing for the promotional service that they're being charged for. If BitChute is a pro-satanic company, please let me know, and I will close my account and take my business elsewhere. If you can remedy the situation and provide me with the service that I'm paying for, I would gladly stay and continue providing your company with content and with the financial support through my monthly bronze membership contributions. Sincerely, Nathan Cizik, which, by the way, is my real name. I'm not a phony shill that goes by an alias, either to make it sound good, okay, so it's to market myself, or just to cover my ass because I'm lying to you, and I don't want anybody to know who I really am. Now, it's a good thing to use an alias in this community because it's turned into a clown show, and as a result of that, if you go to apply for a job and they happen to even take you serious enough to even get to that point where they pay attention to you and say, I think I'm going to give this guy a chance, and let me take a look at his background. So they Google my name, and then all of a sudden, I show up in the clown show. I have all these different interviews about evil ETs and MyLabs and stuff like that. So, unless the person is into that information, they probably won't want to hire me, thinking that I'm crazy. See, that's the price you have to pay for this. One of the many prices, by the way. So please mirror my videos and put them up. All I ask, just provide a link. And if you really want to help me, hey, do an intro and say, this is so-and-so's video, this is Nathan's video, or the Voices of Orion Project video. I hope you enjoy it. You can find his website, find his channel, his Telegram group, blah, blah, blah. That would be fantastic. But I'm not even asking that. Just put my videos up on your channel and help me break the censorship. Help me stop the government from covering up their dirty work. That's what I'm asking for you. If you want to do something good for humanity, this is what you can do, and it doesn't take much. And you'll enjoy it because you'll get people to contact you and say, hey, that was a great video, and thank you for providing this information. I couldn't find it anywhere else. So let's get to the problems now that I have in the community itself. This is the disclosure community. Now, what I've found is that the disclosure community has been a huge disappointment to me. I tried to go back, back in 2008, I started to attempt to go public by contacting researchers. Nobody ever contacted me back. I've been a pariah since 2008. It wasn't until Robert of the Typical Skeptic podcast gave me the chance to speak on his channel. Thankfully, Robert is one of the few good people out there who were willing to help me. I started to get seen. I started to get some exposure. And that led to me figuring out exactly what was going on with me, and it helped me immensely. So it also gave me the ability and the confidence to do these videos. So that's been a plus. That's the only reason you even know about me in the first place. So I've had some good interactions with people in this community, but for the most part, it's been 90% bad. And usually now, when I'm contacting other channels to get an interview or to get some help or exposure, I'm averaging maybe 40 to 50% of the time that I actually get a positive response. But I think if I did like maybe 10 different, if I contacted 10 different channels, I may get 30% responses. But out of those, that still doesn't guarantee you that you're going to get interviewed, because the good ones will contact you. The ones that are professional will contact you back and say, we're going to take a look at your info and we'll get back to you if we're interested. Fair enough, That's all I ask. But most of them don't even respond to you. I've contacted Carrie Cassidy 3 times. Okay, I just contacted her recently because people were urging me to contact her again. No response at all. Someone contacted me through Telegram and said Carrie Cassidy views my Telegram group, and so do a couple of other researchers. And I said, well, you can take Carrie right off that list, and probably all the others too, because they're not going to reach out to me either. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for a lot of these things. Okay, and I did some videos about how the government uses remote mind control, how the ETs do it as well, how they work together to do it. Remote mental influencing, subconscious psychic programming. That's one of the ways they do this, but there's other ways. They've got a multi-tiered or multi-layered way of suppressing information. It has to do, and at the core of it is money, because people in this business, in this industry of disclosure, because it isn't a movement. It's not a grassroots movement. It is a co-opted grassroots movement that's turned into a government shill, parade of government shills, or a government-sponsored clown show full of shills, liars, crooked people, and assets of the ETs themselves. So I just want to talk about a little bit about my experiences. Now, this is going to piss people off, and it's intended to, because people need to hear the truth. So if it triggers them, oh well, tough shit. I'm not really holding back on the profanity. I'm not going to get too into it. I don't want to sound unprofessional, but I'm just venting, because I'm never going to have a monetized channel, so it doesn't matter. And they're already shadow banning me. So I may as well just say, hey, I can curse. So what I'm going to tell you is that I've reached out. I'm going to start with this genre. I've reached out to the religious demonologist crowd. L.A. Mazzulli, we'll talk about him. He won't respond to me. I've contacted him twice. Can't get a response whatsoever. And I find that to be a big disappointment because he's talking about alien abductions. He's been working with abductees, a handful of them. And what I found out is that he was writing a book about it. So that's the reason I reached out, because here's a guy that's trying to find answers, yet he won't talk to me. I wonder how many other people he brushes off. So, I mean, if you're unwilling to contact somebody that has a body of work like I have and has put some time into this, okay, and then has a proven track record with the people who know me in the community that have conversed with me and become friends with me, if I'm not just a random email. So at least I think I deserve, say, hey, I'll take a look at it. But I get nothing. He totally avoids me. Obviously he's got a business, and when you start getting into the satanic cult stuff, there's something about that in this community that scares people away. And what really surprises me is the religious demonologist community, because that seems to be just as full of shills as the disclosure community. It's almost as bad, if not worse, because religion in general is full of shills and liars. Everybody's doing a religious or theistic themed grift. Jesus always needs money, according to these people. He can never, all powerful, all knowing, as George Carlin would say, but just can't handle money and always needs a little more and pays no taxes. So I don't get why religious demonologists would run from a satanic cult that's destroying people's lives, especially teenagers, called the Joy of Satan. You would think that they would at least want to hear what I have to say, or at least watch my videos, and then comment back and say, hey, good luck with what you're doing, but, I think it's too much for me to handle. It doesn't fit my business model. I think I'll lose money, and I could get harassed by this cult. I don't need the trouble, sorry. That I could respect that. If you're in it just for the money and you're worried about financial losses because you're going after a cult or helping me expose it, just be honest with me and say, hey, I'm in it for the money, man. I don't need the trouble. I'm a businessman. I'm not a spiritual person. I'm full of shit. Not saying L.A. Mazzulli is, but, it would be nice if you could respond to me, but no. And the funny thing is that I've been on shows that he's been on. And I'm like, look, and I've tried to get all these other people to go on shows with me, and they won't do it. So he's off the list. Now, here's another guy, Nathaniel Gillis. Okay, I first found him on the Leak Project, and I'm thinking this is the perfect person to contact because he does nothing about the ET situation. He acts like he does. He reads books and watches videos, and he talks about it, and he tries to connect it with the satanic, the whole Satan thing with evil spirits and the end time deception and all that. So I figured, hey, this guy would be the one who would actually take this seriously. And I was so naive to think so. So I contacted him 2 times under his YouTube channel. And the one time was during the COVID pandemic, and he said, I'm sick with COVID, I'll get back with you. He never did, and I contacted him again. He didn't respond, right? So I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't know what the deal is here, but he obviously doesn't want anything to do with this. He probably doesn't think I'm credible. It sounds outlandish anyway, right? Government, ETs, and a cult. So fast forward, I don't know how many months it was, probably a year. He was doing an interview on the Leak Project with Rex Bear, and he does a weekly show on, I think, Wednesdays on Rex Bear's Leak Project website. You have to pay to watch that. But Rex does put him on pretty frequently on his channel. And as you've seen any of my videos, you'll know that there's the Rex Bear incident video where Rex Bear opens my email about the Joy of Satan. He has an implanted dreamscape experience to elicit fear in him, and then he runs away and won't ever talk to me again. After I sent him about 20 or 25 long emails. I literally wrote the man a book, and at the end of it, he gave me a 1-line response, and then that's it. He wants nothing to do with me. And here we have a situation where we flush the ETs out. Rex Bear has this public incident with extraterrestrials involved with this cult, and yet he doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to run from it and pretend it didn't happen. He even pulled in Elizabeth April, who works for the same negative draconian ETs that I was enslaved with and tortured by, but she's being used as a mouthpiece. So That's a whole different subject. That's part of Project IBIS. You know, Project IBIS turns MILAB victims into starseed celebrities who then become modern day prophets for the negative evil ET presence. It's the end times deception. But anyway, you would think Nathaniel Gillis would be all over this and like just or at least wanting to hear what I've got to say. But no. So what happened was is I watched one of his interviews and you know, he was just on my friend Robert's channel and thinking, okay, you know, these guys gaining some traction. Maybe I'll try again. So I posted, and this wasn't even regarding to him, and it had nothing to do with him. I just posted under his interview with Rex, and I said Rex Bear was attacked by blah blah evil ETs masquerading as demons. Here, check it out. And I put the Rex Bear incident video, right? Well, he saw this like 2 days after, a couple days later, I think it was, after the video had been published, and he verbally attacked me. Now it's been taken down, but I cut and pasted the entire interaction on my, it's somewhere in my Telegram group. You'd have to scroll way up there to find it. But he verbally attacked me, called me a liar, fraud, and then he bragged about how he's done hundreds of interviews and hundreds of speeches or speaking engagements where people wanted to hear, and he bragged about how great he was and how I wasn't, and how no one will ever talk to me, and he's the man. Big time ego, right? And I was nice to him. I was still nice. I was just saying, look, I'm just trying to expose this cult. I would appreciate if I get some help, but if you don't want to deal with it, that's fine. And he says, you know, Rexes are going to put you on. I'm like, yeah, he doesn't want anything to do with MILABs, the SSP, the super soldiers, none of it. He doesn't believe in it. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He'd rather talk about Sumerian tablets and a bunch of stuff that it's, you know, stuff you'd see on that you'd see on the History Channel. That's about it. And an occasional Starseed and, you know, of course, Nathaniel stuff. So, yeah, he was being a jerk, and that was that. And it was up for a few weeks, and then Rex sanitized the video and took the comments out. And then I thought, okay, that's it. This guy's not who he's cracked up to be. I looked into his background. I couldn't find anything, because he talks about doing like all of these different cleansing of houses and maybe even exorcisms. I don't know. He's got like this repertoire of like this spiritual warrior, right? So I go looking for it. I can't find any evidence of it. I found one comment on Facebook by a woman who thanked him for coming in and cleansing her haunted house. And she mentioned that he had seen one or two other ghosts that were there that she didn't even know about. And he responded back and saying, yeah, that was one hell of an evening or something, right? That's the only evidence that I could find that Nathaniel Gillis even does what he says. And I think a lot of it, what he does is storytelling, and then he gets people to send him emails and tell them, and then he recounts their stories. I really don't know. I just don't see any evidence of all this amazing work that he's doing. Maybe it's there, maybe I haven't found it. But he wasn't very nice to me. So fast forward a few more months, and then I get this interview with a guy in Eastern Europe. He was a former member of the Joy of Satan cult and a victim of it. So I'm so gracious. I'm so thankful to get this interview, because finally somebody has got the guts to come forward and said, this happened to me too. And it's not just me speaking. It's just one person talking about this, you know. So I do the interview with him. I publish it. And I'm thinking, I'll send a copy to Nathaniel, because then he'll know that I'm real, and that, because if he's asked Rex if this thing happened, like in the video, and if Rex said, man, I think it was the power of suggestion. I don't think any of that was real. And he could say, well, we had Elizabeth April on, and she said it was, and he'll say, well, I don't necessarily believe her either. Okay. But it doesn't make any sense. So anyway, I contacted Nathaniel Gillis through Facebook, and I gave him a link to the video, to the interview that I did with the guy, the former victim of the Joy of Satan cult. So what does Nathaniel Gillis do? He doesn't watch my video. I don't know if he did or not, but he immediately blocked me. He blocked me on Facebook for sharing a video that supported what I was doing and supported my claims, right? So there you go. I think that says a lot. That's not a researcher, folks. That's a storyteller. Sorry to tell you that. There's no professionalism. There's no mutual respect for people. There's nothing. It's just ego and grift. Sorry to tell you, but like I said before in my last video, or 2 videos ago, I'm going to have a harder edge. I can't take this disclosure community anymore. I'm not a part of it. They'll never let me in it. And at this point, I really don't want anything to do with it. I'm kind of stuck with it. It's me against them because they're not what they say they are. And it's like that with the religious demonologist side too, because now they're both getting into the ET stuff, and one side wants to make the money that the other side's making. And that's really what this comes down to. So you have a lot of grifters, a lot of phony people who want to tell stories and try to make money like Corey Goode has done and still is, and many other people. So next comes Journey to Truth. You know, I was hesitant to contact Journey to Truth because I had a bad feeling about it. And I wasn't sure what the bad feeling was. I just felt that it was going to be the same old shit. And I didn't know what I was in for, but I thought it was going to be the same reception that I'd gotten with all these other people. But people kept telling me, you got to contact them. They interview people just like you, my lab victims. You've got some a little bit of super soldier memories. You've got a soul transference memory. You got the shit that happened with super soldiers in the base and the you know, these reptilians and other negative ETs. You've had 15 years of direct daily telepathic contact. Why don't you contact them, right? Makes sense to me, right? So I reluctantly did. And I contacted Journey to Truth, and I got a response back from Tyler, like next day, I think, or a day or 2 later. And it wasn't a very friendly response. And what I did was, in the email that I sent him, I said, I explained who I was, and I just said a little bit about myself. I told him I was a MyLab victim. I was abducted around age 6. And, hold on. I was abducted around age 6, and I told him that I found out that there's this program called Project Ibis, and then it's an umbrella program. It's not just what James Casbold and other people have talked about from the super soldier community. It's much bigger than that. It involves basically a spiritual deception, which is why they're calling it Project Ibis. It's the inversion or hijacking of Thoth, the spiritual, teacher god. So this is a New Age deception. It's what the Christians talk about. Now, of course, the Christian community is not at all interested in hearing of this because, they've got their business model and they're doing fake exorcisms, and spiritual blessings and things, and talking about ETs from their own point of view. They don't want to hear about that the government's involved in this. It's just devils and spirits. And of course, we should all know that's bullshit. So I can't get any help with them, so I'm thinking maybe I'll get some help with these guys because they're secular minded, I thought, right? So anyway, I explained how there's a New Age deception a little bit. I went into it a little bit, and there was a lot more that I had left to say, and I said, I will contact you again with more info, something like that. And so I got this very kind of rude, standoffish response, and it came from Tyler, and he was basically questioning me and kind of like arguing the fact that everything that I claim could be debunked using my own logic. He wanted to know if I worked for a letter agency, or if I had any memories of being off planet. And more or less what he was saying is, without actually directly saying it, is that I was a know-it-all. And he later said that because I waited about 2 months, and then I sent another email, and I just felt like, I'm not going to contact these people. I'm just going to hell with it. But then it kept eating at me. Finally, after 2 months, I contacted him back. I sent him a follow-up email. And I questioned the tone, it's like, hey, why are you acting like this with me? And I asked him, and I said, when you interviewed Ishmael Perez and Alina Denon, did you scrutinize them the way you're scrutinizing me? And of course, that pissed them off. They didn't like that. Now, Ishmael Perez says a lot of outrageous stuff. He has no evidence to support it. He just wrote a book, and that means money and views, because he's now like this big name that everyone wants to have on the show. So of course they're going to put him on and not even ask one question in regard to how he got any of this information. Yet here I am being questioned, like, where do you get your matter, and this is a quote, "Where do you get your matter-of-fact opinions?" Tyler said. So what I'm going to do is, by the way, I think I'm going to do a split screen video and actually go through this emails. Why not? You know, never going to be on their show, and I knew that going in. They don't like me, and they said it. Anyway, I was trying to be as nice as I could, and I just like, you know, here's what I'm doing. I'm trying to expose this cult. I've been a victim of it. It's victimizing people right now. There's tens of thousands of victims out there. The more reach that I get, the more chance I'll get of somebody doing another interview like the one I just did and sent you guys, and therefore I could get more people to testify that, hey, this happened to me, and hopefully that'll deter other people from joining that cult and getting involved in similar cults. Because the government, the U.S. military, and other militaries that are conspiring with negative extraterrestrials that are creating this Project Ibis cult type deception with the New Age and with modern occult belief systems, they don't just have the joy of Satan. They've got a lot of things going on. They've got a lot of irons in the fire. It's a global program. There's lots of these. These are called virtual temple complexes, and they're run by DARPA. Apparently, I'm not supposed to say that word in conjunction with these other conspiracies, because then I'll get my video pulled down. But it's DARPA. I like to call it FLARPA. Sounds like FLARPA, but it starts with a D. So they're the ones that create the Dragonfly drones that deploy bioweapons, which I'm going to be talking about soon, how that was used on, you know, to kill Gerald Clark by giving him cancer, and how it's been used on some friends of mine in Australia. We're going to talk about that too. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, after I sent them that other email, it triggered them, and then I got a whole bunch of nasty emails from them. It was probably like 4 or 5 total. They called me a condescending, arrogant, know-it-all spiritual narcissist, all for requesting an interview to help teenagers and adults stay out of the joy of Satan. I'm trying to do something good here. I'm trying to make the world a better place, but apparently there's people in the disclosure community that like it just the way it is. And evidently I triggered them, because apparently Tyler and Aaron don't believe that there are such things as negative ETs deceiving people through telepathic and other forms of psychic contact. Or they don't like it that I'm exposing a satanic cult. So maybe Aaron and Tyler are in fact Satanists. Maybe they're practicing Satanism. Maybe I offended their religion. So, you know, I don't know. Anyway, after a series of nasty emails, right, that they sent, they were like 1 or 2 line ones, but Aaron, he's like more of the submissive one, I think, of the two, but he really has a temper, much worse than Tyler, because he laid into me. He called me all kinds of shit. And then one of them followed up and sent me some, it was like a transcript from either a video or it was something from a website about spiritual narcissism. At the bottom of it, it had a hand, an emoji hand, was pointing at the content above it, and it said, "This is you," and it called me a spiritual narcissist. And they said, I'm dying for attention. Yeah, I am dying for attention, because unlike you guys, I don't get promoted by the algorithms. Unlike you guys, I don't have people giving me money to promote what I'm pushing. Okay? I don't have any financial backing from this corrupted disclosure community. And I definitely am not getting any help from the people in it. So, very little. Very little. There's a couple of people that have stepped up and been great, but the rest of them suck. So, I just wanted you guys to know that. You know, Tyler and Aaron are either against me exposing a satanic cult that's destroying lives, or they're triggered because I said that there's problems with the New Age community. There's problems with that belief system. There's problems because there's negative ETs behind it, and they're doing things to rope people in with these belief systems, and then they're destroying their lives. Okay, so you'll never see me on Journey to Truth. So that's off the list. You'll never see me on Project Camelot with Carrie Cassidy. That's off the list. And you're definitely not going to see me on the Leak Project, and you're definitely not going to see me talking to L.A. Mazzulli or Nathaniel Gillis or any of these other religious demonologist people out there writing books and telling stories and videos and all this stuff, they are not the people they propose or they project to be. They don't practice what they preach. And, I'm not asking for much, just a conversation. That's it. What you do with that conversation is up to you. You don't have to put me on your channel. I would just like you to know about what's going on out here and what some of us are experiencing. But they don't want to hear that. They want to control the narrative. So the religious demonologists, they want to control the narrative. The super soldier types, Journey to Truth and all that, they want to control the narrative. Now, I also contacted James Rinkback, and he did that. He was nice enough to do the hypnosis session with me. But after that, he didn't want nothing to do with me. And I tried to reach out to him, and it was very short. Sometimes it was kind of like, sort of not very friendly in responses that I got, so I stopped. But I did, I did wish him a Merry Christmas. He did respond positively from that. And then I contacted him and asked him about Project Alice. That triggered him. He got kind of rude, so I gave him a break. No more text. I only sent him a couple of texts, a couple of emails, because he asked me to help him with research. So anyway, I finally got so tired of it all that I finally just broke down and asked him, like, look, you did the hypnosis session with me. There's a lot to my story that doesn't involve these suppressed memories. A lot of it is stuff that happened to me in my lifetime with the government, with the super soldier program, with all of it, the whole damn thing. I was in Project Ibis. It's connected to White Sands. So why don't you want to interview me? What's the reason? Initially I never wanted to go on his show, but he made it sound like, if you got some memories, I'd like to put you on. And if you help me with the research, I'll give you a free hypnosis session, which is great. Thank you, James. But afterward, it was like no support. I had a 2-month-long deep depression because I uncovered information in that hypnosis session that just tore my world apart and made me realize I'm not who I thought I was. So there wasn't anything else. I mean, normally, if you do that for people, you should be there to say, here's some support. If I can't give it to you, here's some people you can contact and talk to them. But I got none of that. Even though he's got a website, which I found out later, that has like people who will support you, but all of them require $200-300 payments. So, it is what it is. Everybody's trying to make money from this. And there's very few people out there. These are the ones that are in the shadows you don't hear about. They don't have websites. You can find them. You can find them and they'll find you. You can get help. And that's how I have gotten help. Not from the people, not from the big names. It's from the smaller ones and the ones you never know about. So anyway, I asked him, I was like, why wouldn't you put me on under these circumstances? There's a lot that I have to offer. He just said he gave me a one-line response, and it said, I was used by IBIS, Project IBIS, and we weren't used the same way as you. In other words, what he's saying is that because you haven't had a very similar experience to myself and other people that I've interviewed, I'm not interested in your personal story. I'm not interested in any new aspects to Project Ibis or to this whole phenomenon. I just want to keep it focused on elaborate war scenes, elaborate space battles on off planet. Just want to keep it there, and I want to talk about satanic sex trafficking and MK Ultra stuff, where your situation is like all of that, but I don't want to deal with it. Okay, because for some reason you're not the person I want on my channel, right? Okay. So there's a problem there, and there's a problem with all of these people. They're mind controlled and they have agendas. And if you come along with a satanic cult, and this is the thing, I've got like an albatross around my neck. This Joy of Satan shit is literally preventing me from getting anywhere in this community. And of course, it's not just that, but because the powers that be don't want me to talk. But when you start getting into Satanism, and you start talking about the connection between Satanism or Satan or evil demons and negative extraterrestrials, and you start connecting that with the New Age movement, it's the kiss of death for you, because no one will want to talk to you but very few people. There's a small number of people that will talk to you. So far, it's less than 5. And I've contacted many. So that's the problem I have there. Now, moving forward, I was desperate, so I figured, okay, I'll contact another subgenre of the disclosure movement. These are the skeptical people. This is Steve Cambion from the Truth Seekers podcast, who, by the way, does a great job as an investigator. I respect all of his work. I don't agree with him on a lot of things because he's a lot of it's over his head. He's not seeing it. He doesn't understand the phenomenon like I do. And he's not willing, but the problem is he's not willing to hear from me. He'd rather hear from what he calls wackadoos and then make fun of them. And these are people that, are completely Project Ibis oriented, brainwashed people, mind-controlled MyLabs, who will go up there and talk about outrageous stuff. Some of it is screen memories that never actually happened, and other things have happened. But because his frame of reference is limited to being more skeptical and not being more open-minded and understanding this because you really can't grasp this whole phenomenon unless you've been an experiencer in it. If how can someone, you can't ask this of anybody, who's not been a victim of these programs to be able to comprehend what it's like to be in them and be a victim of it. So I contacted him and he responded right back, said he was away at his cabin, he'd look into it. Well, it's been over a week. I haven't heard anything. I'm probably not going to hear anything. I was kind of expecting that, but I did think that he would contact me back, because really what I wanted to do with him was talk off camera. I wasn't too much interested in going on his show, but I wanted to share some of my experiences with people in the community. I thought he'd be interested, but he wasn't. I even offered him a recording of the hypnosis session I did with James Rink, and evidently he wasn't interested in that. Now, interesting, this is what started this. He had Ryder Lee from Raised by Giants on there. And I think I got his name right. I think it's Ryder Lee. I'm pretty sure. If I got it wrong, I apologize. Anyway, I contacted him, offered him the same information. Now, he was just on the Truth Seekers podcast the day before. And I was in the live chat. And if you watch that interview with him on the Truth Seekers podcast with Ryder Lee from Raised by Giants, you'll see towards some point during the interview that they started addressing me in the live chat. Several things that I said were actually talked about. One, I brought up the hypnosis session with James Rink, and Ryder Lee immediately shot down hypnosis and said it's all bunk. And this is where he's very close-minded. So if you're that close-minded, I can't see how you're going to be able to really be a good researcher. And I don't, So, but anyway, what I've found with a lot of these people who do these podcasts is they're not really objective researchers. They're people who formulate opinions through research, and then they push that opinion, and they don't deviate. They will, at some point, they make their mind up, and then they don't want to look at other information that's coming in. New data is being just blocked out. They put on the rose color, well, not really, they actually put on the peripheral shade glasses where you have tunnel vision, and they just go one direction. So Steve Cambion, to his credit, did say, he did correct Ryder and say, look, there's been some provable positive things coming out of hypnosis that have helped in law enforcement and different things like that with investigations and so forth. So it does have validity. Of course, he had nothing to say about that. He just moved on to another topic in the discussion. But both of them knew who I was because of what I said in the chat. So I offered Ryder Lee. I said, look, you said that, that hypnosis sessions basically create delusions in your mind by giving people leading questions. I said, I've got the whole video of my hypnosis session. I don't think there was any leading questions that James Rink gave me. But if you want to take a look at it, I'd be more than happy to send you a copy of it. I was going to upload it to YouTube, set it to unlisted, and I was just going to send him a link and say, here, or actually send him the whole file. But he wasn't interested. He also wasn't, and I also offered this to Steve Cambion. I'm like, look, I will tell you everything that I've been through in this community from start to finish if you want that information. I will tell you all of my interactions and what I think of people after I've talked with them, just like what I've done here. I'll talk about all of that, and I'll tell you what the problems are in this community, and I'll tell you how the government is manipulating it, because they've got somewhat of a good idea, but they got maybe a little bit less than half of the big picture. they're not entertaining the possibility that the government has evolved with their mind control technology from the MK Ultra days and is now far, far more advanced than before. We're up to the trans-dimensional level of mind control now. So anyway, it was a dead end with both of those guys, unfortunately. There's been more than enough time to hear from both of them. And I kind of got what I thought I was going to get, which was an initial response because they seem to be more professional than others. They're not the type that just ignores the emails and presses delete. There's a lot of those people, but they didn't take my offer. So they're going to continue to talk from the point of reference that they've always had because they don't want any new information to come in. They don't want to entertain government remote viewing studies. And actually, I just heard Ryder Lee on a Apple, it was like some sort of Apple podcast. I'm not real familiar with it, but how that works. But anyway, it was on an Apple-based platform, and he was basically talking about, he was incorrectly connecting Project Stargate with the current clown show that we have right now, basically discounting and calling BS on the CIA's remote viewing program that was conducted right here, not far from my house, about a half hour from me at Fort Meade, Maryland. It was called Project Stargate. It involved Ingo Swann and others. John McMonagle was one of the people involved in it, and you can go to CIA.gov and read the transcript of his remote viewing of Mars, where he sees people and pyramids and really bad environmental just problems, high winds, sandstorms, an uninhabitable planet, and a small group of survivors that are underground and they're looking for a better place to live, and they're sending out like scouts or whatever. He didn't have all the information. We don't know if it was spacecraft or if it was just people on foot or car or off-road vehicles, whatever it was, but they were looking for a new place to live and waiting for somebody to come back to say, we found it, whatever that means. But so he discounted the whole thing. So, it's the same problem all the time. These people will create an idea of what's going on. They will formulate an opinion, and then once they do, they shut their mind off, and anything that would cause them to deviate from that opinion of a subject, they don't want in their psyche. So, a good researcher would say, yeah, I'd like to listen to your hypnosis session. I'd like to see if there's any leading questions. I'd like to see if James Rink is doing this to get content for his channel, which he is, but he's not asking leading questions. He just wants content. He doesn't care what happens to you afterward. He doesn't care about what happens to you while you're talking to him. He just wants content for his channel, and he made that quite clear. So, and he wasn't asking leading questions. I wanted to clear his name in that respect and say, hey, this is not what you think it is. But I never got that chance. So Ryder Lee will continue to claim that hypnosis is BS, and it is always, in every case, involves leading questions. And there's an example of why he feels that way, because anything that would prove to the contrary, he's not interested in seeing, just like Neil deGrasse Tyson is not interested in looking at UFO evidence because he's a shill. Not that Ryder Lee is. He's just a closed-minded, opinionated podcaster who does research, but only to facilitate his beliefs and not to expand upon it and get to the truth because he thinks he already has it. That's a personal issue. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a liar. He works for them. He works for the government. He's there to push propaganda. Okay? He'll push anything that they want him to push because that's how he makes his money. He's a soulless man. Okay? He stands for nothing but making money. It's a grift. There's all sorts of grifts. So anyway, that's what I've been going through. And I'm still getting, the same crap. I mean, and I have gotten some traction. I have been able to make contact with a decent UFO researcher. But, it's too early to even go into what that could lead to. And that's it. And as far as everybody else is concerned in this community, I mean, I'm very disappointed. I'm incredibly disappointed, in fact, with just human beings in general. You know, the world is in the situation it's in because people don't want to change it. They don't want to change from within. They want to keep doing what they're doing and expect a different outcome. You know, the classic textbook Sigmund Freud definition of insanity is being employed every day in this culture, every day on this planet by nearly everyone on it, to some degree or another. And it takes a lot of inner strength to say, whoa, I'm doing this the wrong way. I'm not going to repeat this. Let's try something new. Those are the people that change the world. And those are the ones that get attacked for changing the world by the very people who don't want to see any change at all, but are more than happy to bellyache about it all the time and be part of the problem. So anyway, yeah, that's it. And thanks for listening. And I'll probably be doing some more videos, but like I said, I need your help to get them out, because if a tree falls in a forest and nobody hears it, well, nobody knew it fell, but God knows it fell. But, you know, not a perfect analogy, but if I'm on social media and I've got relevant information that people need to hear so they can review it and contrast it, and compare and contrast it with what's already out there. If nobody hears me, if nobody here sees my videos, then what's the point of doing them? Because I could easily just stop this and go back to my life, and I'd have more time to focus on solving my own problems in my life that have been caused by this program that I've been in. So maybe I'll do that. But first of all, before I do, I've got to completely fail at what I'm doing. And if you can help prevent that and share my videos and put them up on your channel, that would be a huge help. It may lead to you being shadow banned, but if you never intended to have a YouTube channel or some other social media channel on BitChute or Rumble, then it won't matter anyway, because you'll still be able to access it. It's just that if you try to upload a cooking video or auto repair video or some carpentry stuff or plumbing video, they'll shadow ban you if you carry my videos. But I haven't seen that so much. It's more or less they go after me. And I think one of my videos on, I think it was Rumble, actually had, like 5,000 or 6,000 views. That's very unusual, you know. But if on the same channel on Rumble, 10 or 12 views over a year period, not just a few months. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later, and hopefully I'll have some more videos. I think a lot of you would like to hear about some positive stuff, like for example, the God Source experiences that I've had. I know you'd like to hear about some of the psychic attacks that I've had recently, and so on and so forth. And I'd like to get into that and some positive stuff and expose more of the crap that the government's doing to people. And I'd like to help people expose them themselves by going on and doing videos with me. So if you've been a victim of the New Age movement or satanic cult, especially the Joy of Satan, please contact me. You can get to my email. It's hajancontactee@voicesoforion.com. You can find a link directly. You can go to my YouTube channel, go to the About page. You'll have a little box to check off, and then my email will show up, and you can click on that and follow that link directly to your inbox where you can send me a video. You can also reach me on my Telegram group for those people that, oh, and by the way, Telegram also shadow bans me. They hide my Telegram channel, so it's hard to find it. You're not going to find it. Most of the, you know, unless you search for Project Ibis, you may see it, but you may not. And if you use any secondary kind of like search for Telegram, you're not going to find anything I've got. But how you find it is you go to my main YouTube channel, and you go to the far right hand corner. There's going to be two little links up there that have the Telegram symbol. You're going to click on the right one. I think it's the far right one. One is for the channel, and it has a couple of videos up. The other one actually is the chat. That's where you want to go. Subscribe to the chat, become a member of it, and then you can contact me there, and you can pull me aside and do a private chat session by clicking on my little icon, which is the White Sands missile base logo. Click on that, and you can open up a private chat, and you can message me, and we can talk. And I can't promise that I'll have time to get to everybody equally, but I do the best I can. I don't get a lot of traffic. I get, you know, 1 or 2 new people a week contact me, but I'm always talking to the previous people. So I'll do my best to reach out to you and be as friendly and open as possible. Unlike most people in this community who put up a wall, usually a paywall, and they don't want to talk to you because they've got an agenda. I don't. My agenda is getting the truth and helping people steer clear of the soul traps and pitfalls that Project IBIS, the world government, and these evil ETs have put forth for us to fall into. So I'll see you guys later, and take care.